What is going on, everybody, man? King Recon here, dude. I'm pumped. I'm pumped, man. Listen, I don't know what the messages were from the heavens, bro. I don't know what they were, man. But what I do know is that I was in the middle of reading these chapters because me and my brother we were reading the arc together, right? But he went to bed. So after that, man, I decided to put on some OSTs, and the last chapter we read together was chapter 921. So I put on some OSTs while reading chapter 922. And I was already feeling it, bro. I was already feeling it. Bro, listen, man, when I reached the final panel of chapter 922, and Luffy Muko just started playing, bro, I mean, I started to lose. I lost, as Khan would say, the music, yeah. And I'm listening to that as 923 is going on. And then, in the middle of me reading 923, the legendary soundtrack, bro, the legendary, it's the Luffy versus Rashi round 1. That's what they're playing in the middle of 923. But nah, man. Bro, it's like if it was sent from the heavens, man. In the middle of reading chapter 924, I got to the page where Luffy uses his Conqueror's Hockey while he's unconscious, and all you hear is dun 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 dun. Overtaken started playing, and from then on out, I was so in tune with the music that I just got the pages going. I was speed reading, bro. Like I never sped read before my entire life. I was going from page to page to page to page to page to page, and by the time I finished the chapter, the song ended, and I was like, oh, I mean, it was great. It was great, man. I did not expect to go through the experience that I did rereading those last 3 chapters, man. Because up until that point, I mean, the reread experience was mainly about me analyzing and really thinking about every individual chapter as they are, and really thinking about how I should rank them and rate them. And because especially since I was with Kevin, man, I was like, man, you know, discussing the chapters and giving our ratings, giving our thoughts, really going in depth with how certain panels are. And but whenever I was by myself, right now, man, just a couple minutes ago, and I put on the music, I realized, I said, when this stuff gets animated, it's over. It's over, man. This is about to be legendary, dog. So, here in this Wano Act 1 overview that I'm going to be doing, we're going to be going through the 15 chapters in the arc so far, going through the likes and like the main things that I pulled from each chapter, a rating for each chapter, and then at the end an overall rating for Act 1, and then sometime later on this weekend I plan on doing an Act 2 prediction stream, discussing, you know, what could possibly happen in Act 2 and whatnot. And then if you guys would like a part 2 to this Recon's piece, a possible top 5 favorite moments of Wano Act 1 so far, or something around those lines, man, let me know. Let me know. But if that one can't get done, most certainly I want to do that Wano Act 2 predictions stream sometime soon. I mean, before the next chapter drops, I want to do that stream. But before we get into any of that, man, we gotta talk about Wano Act 1, bro. Listen, man. Last night I was pulling up my DVDs, and I decided that sometime this weekend, or maybe even right after I finish this video, I want to rewatch the Boss Luffy fillers, man. You guys remember the Boss Luffy fillers? Whenever it has them going back to the feudal era of Japan, and we would get like one of those filler episodes and then come back to it way later on down the line, or maybe a couple episodes. I know during Annie's Lobby, we would cut back in every 10, 15 episodes or so. So, and then we eventually got back to it after the Straw Hats got separated in Sabaody. And we got back to the Boss Luffy stuff and whatnot. And I want to rewatch those episodes. Just looking back on it now, after being in Wano, and seeing how their outfits are and whatnot. It's been a couple of years since I've watched those episodes. So, I want to watch them. I want to watch them again and see how I feel about them now after going through the Wano greatness, man. But man, dude, let's talk about Wano, bro. And this arc has surpassed my Listen, I had high expectations, man. I really, really did. Wano is something that we've been looking forward to for a very, very long time. And the fact that it has been going in this hard. I mean, the series itself has been going in really, really hard this year, but Wano in all standpoints, man. You know, let me talk about the art real fast. Overall. The art, from the moment that Wano started to where we are right now, for quite some time, I kept hearing people saying that Oda has lost his touch when it comes to his art. Squiggle vision, squiggly lines. Oda has reverted to using squiggles, and it's, I mean, I was hearing so much stuff about One Piece art and how it's nowhere near as how it was in its prime. And then this man Oda pulls out Wano, bro. We've had at least 5 chapters with more than 6 double spreads in the chapter. Do you know how insane? That's like Marineford type of art. Where he was pulling out double page spreads back to back to back to back to back. Those Marineford spreads were beautiful. And in this arc, I mean, just going back to chapter 910, he was going up in the Elixir with the spreads. Screw that, 909! Amazing double page spread seeing Wano for the first time. And let's go and talk about 909, man. Let's dive in. So chapter 909, man, titled Seppuku. Now, this chapter right here is, for me, a fantastic sauce for several different reasons. Seeing Marco again for the first time in 8 years, you know, for the first time since the Paramount Wars, since the Marineford saga, and being able to see him once more, and to where he is, you know, in Whitebeard's hometown, and seeing him with Nekomamushi, very emotional moments, with Marco really, really, you know, in pain over the simple fact that he wasn't able to get revenge on what happened while against Blackbeard, and realizing that Blackbeard did overpower him and his crew, and just looking back on the entire situation. But also looking back at the simple facts, and that's not what makes him tear up. What makes him tear up, because it's not like he's mad or anything. He's realized. I mean, he is angry, but at the very least, he's realized what's important here. And whenever he starts tearing up, was whenever he looks back at a simple moment from back in the day, whenever Whitebeard wouldn't pay the tab at like the bar or whatever the case may be, and Marco starts tearing up over the simple fact that this man Whitebeard, or they never got onto him for it, because of the simple fact that they knew that he was giving almost all of his treasure and his riches over to this place, to his hometown, man. And I was like, that's so flipping beautiful, bro. Like, not only does that make me love Whitebeard more, but that makes me love Marco more too, man. And great stuff. Absolute great stuff to start off that chapter right there, chapter 909. And then I'll always, always, always be happy for the simple fact that I didn't get spoiled in the fact that we were going to Wano, man. I remember in my comment section, people were telling me, like, yo, you didn't get spoiled on the fact that we were going to Wano this week, and I'm so happy that I didn't, man, because that just made 909 10 times better with that initial shock value. The initial shock value of turning the page and seeing the place that you've been talking about, discussing, and speculating for years. Do you know how that was, man? I mean, like I believe the title of the video was "I Can't Stop Smiling." That's a straight shoot. I reread that chapter so many times, man. Just seeing Wano for the first time, seeing the rest of the Straw Hats for the first time in a very, very long time, and what they were doing, and handling business on their side, man. And then the legendary final spread of Zoro using that seppuku knife to cut that place in half and go in like swimwear, man. Going back all the way to the Thriller Bark roots, saying that he was the one that invaded the body 23 years ago, man. But that wasn't why they got onto him in the first place. They just thought that he was a random thief. And then they got onto him for that, and Zoro was like, "Man, get this mess out of here, bro. I'm sorry, Kinemon, man." I was like, "Yo, we're starting off Wano with a bang. This man Zoro's already not following directions. Like, he can already tell things are about to start getting really chaotic." And chapter 909 to me is a fantastic sauce. My brother left his opinion. He's a huge Zoro tard, and he said that all he left for this chapter was beyond Santa Hat Omniverse level. That's what my brother said, man, for the Zoro greatness in chapter 909. Just great stuff, man. And looking back on that initial panel of seeing Wano for the first time, now after having reread the entire arc and after having chapter 924, the fact in the way that 924 ends with the curtains closing, with the same thing with the woman playing on the Japanese banjo and it going and close right there, Wano Act 1 end, and how it starts off with that. It's just, it's a small stuff, but it's big for me. It's big for me. I really, really loved the way that Oda did that. And God, man, and also while reading it, it really made me think, because it stated that 23 years ago during the pirate upheaval is whenever that happened. And I really started thinking, I was like, man, that means that we might have some sort of connection to Wano. I mean, I'm pretty sure that this is something we all expected, but I think there might be a deeper connection between what happened with Gecko Moria and whenever he got slaughtered and his crew got slaughtered at the hands of Kaido. I think that might have more to do with Wano than we think. That was the first thing that popped to mind whenever I was rereading that particular page, or that particular panel, when it said 23 years ago in the pirate upheaval. But we'll see that flashback eventually, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Oda is gonna put Gecko Moria back into the story. But anyways, chapter 909 is a fantastic sauce. Great stuff. I mean, it's a great, such a feel-good chapter. Like I said, seeing the Straw Hats again, the other Straw Hats again for the first time, Beast Sora moments in the chapter, which was my phone wallpaper for a long time, man. It was just such a Beast panel. But seeing Wano for the first time, and seeing Marco too, bro, and coming fresh off legendary chapter 908, I mean, wow, man. Oh, so fantastic sauce for chapter 909. Chapter 910. Titled Onward to Wano. I gave this a good sauce, man, and I really enjoyed this chapter because of the overall adventure aspect that it presented. You know, seeing our characters from the Whole Cake Island squad. The very first spread that you get in the chapter with Luffy eating on the head of the Sunny. I was like, yo, that by itself brings back nostalgic vibes. The fact that they're looking into the newspapers and seeing, you know, Vivi and everybody's happy to hear and see Vivi and hear that Vivi's doing okay, and seeing how the way that she is now and how she's all grown up and they're proud of her, like even amongst, or even above, like everyone else, for that connection with Vivi, because I've always considered Vivi to be like the Phantom Straw Hat. You know how in basketball or something, like you'll have the sixth man, like in Kuroko they call him the Phantom Sixth Man. I call Vivi the Phantom Straw Hat, because even though she's not a Straw Hat, she's a damn Straw Hat, bro. After everything we went through in the Baroque Works saga, Vivi is a Straw Hat, man. So anytime that we get something like that, I mean, just look at this, volume 23 right there, man. She's a Straw Hat, bro. But that was really cool, seeing that. That actually got me a little bit emotional, and then following that with a really interesting portion, which I know is going to be brought up later on down the line again, but I forgot about this until I reread that chapter, where where Sanji and Chopper, because Chopper looking at the Doctorine stuff, which is really, really cute, and Zoro cutting out stuff with Viola and Vivi, because Sanji's sick of that, man. Well, that's my guy. So he's cutting out this picture, and that is coincidentally where the statement about Kaido and Big Mom communicating over the lines, but they don't know. All they see is Kaido and Big Mom, or that's all that Nami reads, and then it blacks out. So like, what in the flying fire is going on? So just wait until the surprise that they're getting into when they see that Big Mom heads right into Wano, and they ask why in the flying flagnards is she there, when they could have found out about this beforehand. And I was like, man, that's gonna be crazy when they see Big Mom roll up in the storm. They're gonna be shocked. And them, most than anybody else, the people who were in Whole Cake Island, the Whole Cake Island squad, are going to be the most shook when they see Big Mom, man, because they know how strong Big Mom is. Now Luffy knows how strong Big Mom and Kaido is. And by God, man, the other members of the crew, after getting blasted by blast breath, and then they remember Big Mom too, and they're going to be like, these two in the same area? I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that, man. But yeah, that was a great little thing that was presented right there. But this chapter had ridiculously good double page spreads. A lot of them pointing back to One of them pointing back to a classic old Japanese painting. I was really, really shocked. I was rereading this chapter with my brother, and he caught that before I did. I mean, I reread this chapter. Whenever the first time I read this chapter, I didn't even catch that. This man read it. I think it was yesterday we were reading chapter 9-10, and he got it on the spot. I was like, "Dang, Kevin, bro, we're in the flying flag. Where did you get that knowledge, man?" So we were talking about that, but overall, just really nice double page spreads. And I always love chapters like this that take us into the world of One Piece and how dangerous the Grand Line truly is, and the dangers of going through the waters, man. I really like chapters like this, and the fact that I still want to know what that octopus, what importance that octopus is going to play in the story later on down the line. That'll be interesting to see. But a really great cliffhanger with Luffy and them getting separated and him on ashore on Wano by himself. I remember being like, whoa, like, where's Wano going to go from here on out? So that was definitely a good sauce of a chapter, man. My brother is a big fan of anything that has to do with like all that kind of stuff in the One Piece world, when it has to do with the world itself and the way the weather conditions, the way that certain like the log pose, like that type of stuff in the One Piece world, my brother's big on. So he gave this chapter a fantastic sauce, man. He was hyped. He was like, "Yo, this is how difficult it is to get into Wano, man. You have to go through all these different obstacles. The waterfall that takes you upwards." I mean, he really loved it, so he gave it a fantastic sauce. I gave it a good sauce, man. I really enjoyed it. But going into chapter 911 now, which is Adventure in the Land of Samurai. I put this chapter extremely over earlier on in the year during my top 10 favorite chapters of the year stream. This is one of my favorite adventure in blank chapters in the series. Absolute great stuff, man. I also gave this chapter a fantastic sauce, man. First of all, I start off the chapter with a wonderful color page. Really good color page. But as you progress through the chapter and you see Luffy by himself here, manhandling business, you see the fruits of his training with Katakuri, with his observation hockey on absolute fleek. I mean, it is on top, bro. Dudes are shooting and he's not even looking at him. He's looking this way and his hands going this way, man. I was like, "Nay!" Like, whoa, monkey, nay! That's my king, man. And then, of course, the introduction of Tama, which was the biggest part of the chapter for me. There was a couple panels that really stood out to me during my reread. The panels of them riding upon the baboon, or riding on the baboon and the Komainu in order to get back to the hideout where Hitetsu is. And I just found those panels to be really, really nice, having Luffy and Tama riding together, heading down to Hitetsu's place. It was, I don't know, it's just something about that really warmed my heart while reading that. And going into the Hitetsu part, that plot twist of Tama not only having rice twice a year, and today being her birthday, and that's what she had, that particular bowl of rice, but because she's so grateful to Luffy, she decided to give it to him, and that just immediately made me fall in love with Tama's character, man. Still to this very day, that's why I like Tama's character so much, and to see that again, and it was a really, really emotional moment, man. Really, really emotional moment. It's a big twist, especially considering how young she is. And then her connection to Ace, man. Ending the chapter with Hawkins. I mean, you know how shocking that was, bro? To see Basil Hawkins in the cut post time skip. I mean, Ellen, Wano. Like, I expected him to be in Wano, but not this early. We were 2 chapters in the arc. If that, you know? Seeing Hawkins, man. I mean, just great stuff. Great stuff, man. And God, man, but that Tama and Luffy stuff was the main highlight for me, and that's mainly why I give it a fantastic sauce. The emotional stuff right there, and like I said, a big twist for me. Still one of the biggest twists in the arc, from a just I did not expect that at all type of standpoint. I mean, she was drinking polluted water, man, to stop the girls inside of her stomach. Because she was so hungry, bro. She didn't even give a flying flag, or she just wanted to have something go down her throat. But Luffy didn't know, bro. Luffy didn't know, man. A fantastic sauce of a chapter, bro. Fantastic sauce of a chapter. My brother gave it a great sauce. But I really, really loved chapter 9-11, man. Great stuff. Heading right into chapter 9-12, man. Amigasa Village. This is another great sauce of a chapter, bro. Finally seeing Luffy and Zoro back together again was awesome. Having the ultimate tag team come together, but even before that, having really nice moments between Heitetsu and Luffy taking the Kitetsu sword with them, and seeing what kind of implications that could have. And then Luffy. Well, first of all, him being straight up with the whole Ace is dead concept to her was big. That just showed me that inside of Luffy's mind, he's already gotten. I mean, we already knew that he was over the fact of that, but because when Tama continues to hit him in the back of the head, and she's saying like, "Yo, Luffy, like you would never understand how much that hurts just for me to say that." And when I heard that coming from Tama, man, I was like, "No, you don't understand." Luffy held him in his hands. Luffy went through everything, through hell and back, to save this man. He was unable to do so, bro. And for Tama to say that, man, I was like, Tama, you don't know, yo. You don't know, dog. One of my favorite panels in the arc is in this chapter as well. It's the panel of Tama riding on the back, on Luffy's back with the straw hat on her head. I love that panel. It's one of the cutest panels. But you know, the connection there with Tama and Ace, and showing that true flashback, and how Ace wanted Ace said that, yeah, whenever you become a great kunoichi and a bewitching kunoichi, I'll come back for you, coach. I'll come back for you. Tama believed in it. It was like, oh yeah, for sure. That's why her dream is to become a kunoichi. And I just found this to be really cute. I was like, man, my boy Ace, dog. My boy Ace. And really good flashbacks right there. But man, dude, just seeing Luffy's a lot of stuff in these earlier portions, not even early, in the entirety of Wano so far has been showing Luffy's growth as a person. Even though he's always been like this, there's just these subtle different moments in the arc that is like, yo, Luffy's actually doing this instead of this. And it's the little small things, but you know, he's still Luffy at the end of the day. He's always been this type of person. But to have him just straight up say stuff like that, it just shows how much he's developed up there, and I like it. I really like little small things like that, and it was really good. Luffy and Zoro's reunion. Come on, man. Come on, bro. I mean, listen. When you have all of this stuff, I always like I continue to say during the chapter reactions, a lot of this early stuff in Wano reminded me of the early portions of the series, and having Luffy and Zoro get back together. And not only are they back together, bro, but they're about to take on another supernova and flipping Hawkins, man. And Hawkins! Such a fantastic way to end the chapter. It was a great sauce of a chapter, man. No question, bro. No question. My brother gave it a fantastic sauce. And literally in the quotations, it says, just because it has Zoro. He's a Zoro-tard, man. I mean, it's right there, coach. It's right there, man. Chapter 913, The Crane Returns the Favor. I gave this a good sauce, man. You know, this chapter had some really, really good action panels. Specifically, there was one action panel of Zoro utilizing his tower climb ripple. The tower climb ripple ability was beast. I just love the way that the panel looked. But having Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Hawkins, I mean, my boy Hawkins was out here utilizing everything, man. I mean, he was summoning the Dark Magician Girl, the Dark Magician. I mean, he was hitting with the magical hats. He had trap cards all over the place, bro. I mean, he was ready. He was ready, man. And I enjoyed it. Just seeing Hawkins, Luffy, and Zoro just duke it out for a little bit. I think this is going to be a chapter I'm going to enjoy a lot more in the anime. Just based off of the really nice fighting sequences they've been doing in the anime as of late. If they continue to have that type of quality going into Wano, I think chapter 913 is going to be a really good chapter animated. I feel that way about a lot of these chapters. They're going to end up being really good anime episodes. But I think chapter 913 is definitely going to be one of them. And then of course we get the introduction of Kiku and of Osuru towards the end of the chapter as well, and leading into all of that right there with the cliffhanger of with Beppo and Law and whatnot. But it was overall a good sauce of a chapter, man. Mainly action and moving the story forward. At this point, I was, or I shouldn't even say I, like we as a community were saying, man, like this arc has been moving very, very fast, like really, really fast. And I think that nothing says that more than the next 2 chapters, where we were literally going from place to place to place immediately. Whenever I read chapters 914 and 915, I was like, bro, this is reminding me so much of Impel Down. We would just go into one area, one chapter, next area we dip, and it's like, man, like it's really reminded me of the Impel Down type of pacing, and it was crazy. It was like, wow, this chapter is going really, really fast, or this arc is going really, really quick. So going into chapter 914, Okobori Town, this is another good sauce of a chapter, man. Great Tama panels and moments. I mean, the comedy, or not even the comedy, the emotional moments. So some comedic moments too, but the emotional moments were hitting home. And I love the Luffy, Zoro, and Tama panels in this chapter. Great stuff. Tama being so happy just to be alive over eating this food that is being given to her by Osuru, man. And the way that Tama's responding to her, like saying, I'm not worthy enough to eat this food. I mean, it was just tug at the heartstrings, man. Great stuff. Great stuff. And Tama, man. Tama greatness, dog. And having Kiku towards the end of the chapter, man, we're like, yo, Kiku awesome sauce. So yeah, chapter 914 was definitely a delight, and once again a chapter that continued that really, really fast pace. But that portion of the chapter that really slowed it down, and we had them all eating together, and just having a lot of exposition towards Wano itself was very important for me. So I thought it was a good sauce of a chapter, no question. Then when we get to Bakura Town, man, chapter 915, bro, this is another good sauce, man. Listen, bro. Well, first of all, on the cover page, we have Bellamy drawing the flag. That's one of my favorite cover pages of the year. Just knowing where Bellamy has come from, the beginning of the series up until now, and I should say from Jaya till now, and to have him doing that, bro, I was like, yo, man, my boy Bellamy, man, that's a good character right there, dog. So in chapter 915, we get Hold'em's introduction. We get some of my favorite perspective panels, and I loved this chapter from a perspective panel standpoint. The panel of them entering the initial town itself, with them riding on the Komainu, and you see Luffy doing his legendary like that was a really good double spread. But my favorite panel in the chapter is the panel whenever they're going down the street, and you see it from Luffy's perspective. You see legit, the panel is split in half as if you're looking at it through Luffy's left eye and right eye. And you're like, good, or at least for me, I was like, good Flagners. This is an excellent panel. I love this. The way that Oda structured it, as if you were looking at it from on top of the Komainu and seeing everything looking down. And it was like, yo, it feels like I'm actually here on Wano. Like, shout out to VR. That was a virtual reality panel, bro. It's been Oda's ahead of his time, dog. Because I know one day we're gonna have virtual reality reading. That'd be fascinating. But this man Oda was ahead of his time right there with that panel. That was a really, really good stuff. And then Urashima with his trolling, man. This dude. This man Urashima, bro. But the chapter ends with Kiku cutting off the top knot. And you guys remember how crazy that was, man. Goodness gracious. I mean, that's basically cutting off the man's balls, bro. Like, come on, coach. You can't do that to somebody, man. But she did it. She did it, man. They had Luffy marking out as all of us did, man. Like, oh, she's cool. She really is, man. Kiku awesome sauce. But one thing that I also want to go back on, talk about for a sec, is the character designs for the artificial, for the smile users that we've been seeing in the arc so far. Whenever I saw Hold'em, I just fell in love with his design, because it was just a classic Oda design, but it for some reason it still caught me off guard whenever I saw that line on his belt. I was like, this man has a lion on his belt, bro, on his stomach. And I'm like, this man's insane, bro. Like, not only does his face and like, just his body already look weird as it is, but now you have a lion on his stomach. And the comedy that went with that, man, great stuff. Great stuff, man. I really, really enjoyed the Bakura Town chapter, man. My brother gave it a great sauce. He was like, it was too trollish for me. Too trollish for me, bro. That was his thing. So chapter 916, man, this is a great sauce of a chapter. It's titled Wano Sumo. This is another one of those episodes, like, or another one of those chapters that I think is going to translate really well in the anime. This chapter, like chapter 913, had a lot of really, really nice action going for it, with Luffy dodging Ultra Instinct style, man. I mean, my man Urashima, bro, was going up like he was Yokozuna, man. And he was ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. And my man Luffy was talking some ka-ka-ka-ka-ka-chidase, goo-goo-goo-goo-ta-ta-ta. I mean, he was dodging. So, not only was he dodging, my man had a stick in mouth, bro, and he was talking about some woo, woo, woo. I mean, yo, he was dodging. I was like, Luffy. I loved it, man. I was loving it. And just having Luffy in a sumo match, I always wanted to see that, man. And I was dying of laughter. I forgot that in the Oda box for Luffy, whenever it introduced him again as a sumo wrestler, that it said that he was undefeated only against Usopp. I was like, only against Usopp, bro. I had forgotten about that thing, and I was great stuff, man. Great stuff. Just a sumo match between these two, the supposed, Yokozuna of Wano, man, getting pwned by the king, bro. And that Gomu Gomu no giant sumo slap, dude, that panel looked glorious. That double spread was glorious. Just seeing that entire huge hand just covering up Urashima, which is massive, who is massive. But him just getting throttled. And then the following panel showing the impact from that, where dude legit got sent flying through buildings upon buildings upon buildings. I mean, in chapter 915, you had everybody marking out. You had the chick saying, "Oh, Hiroshima, that's my goat." Like, people were looking at Hiroshima like he was Roman Reigns. He was Brock Lesnar. I mean, they were like, "Yo, this man is our champ." Marking out, man, like it's Randy Orton or John Cena or something, right? And my man Luffy goes up and like somewhere one-shots my dude, bro. But that one shot, that attack. Luffy had a lot of great attacks here in this batch of chapters. But that giant sumo slap was one of them. And I cannot wait for that to be animated. I want to know how they handle it. Because Oda's panel, the way that the shadowing was in that, woo, in that panel, it was glorious. Glorious stuff. Really nice shots of Kiku, Zoro, and Luffy together in this particular chapter. Great cliffhanger to go on break as well, man. With them finally going up against Hold'em and whatnot. But great facial expressions, great comedy, great overall. And like I said before, just having Luffy. I mean, this entire arc had a lot of like, yes, I've been waiting the whole series to see stuff like this, but Luffy in his suit. Luffy in his suit. I forgot to say in chapter 912, Luffy finally getting his kimono, seeing it for the first time. That was really dope as well. But in this chapter, having Luffy in a sumo match, and then he wins it in that way, a giant sumo slap, bro. I was like, yo, this is beast. Just showcasing how strong he is right now, man. And that was so much fun. So much fun, bro. And like I said before, really nice action panels and overall panels with Kiku, Luffy, and Zoro in that chapter, and a great way to go on break for waiting for us to come back for another great and amazing batch of chapters to come after that. But great stuff, man. Great stuff. I really enjoyed 916. 916 was one of those chapters that I reread several times whenever it initially came out. And maybe it's because it was on break and it came back 2 weeks later. But I really did enjoy Wano Sumo, man. So many different reasons, but it was a great chapter, bro. As a wrestling fan, y'all know, man. My boy Luffy could not allow himself to be put over, but he had to put himself over, coach. He went in, man. He took the dub. That was goat. My brother gave it a fantasy sauce. He loved it. He loved it, man. So chapter 917, Food Treasure Barge. is the next chapter. I gave this chapter a great sauce, man. I don't even know where to begin, bro. I don't even know where to begin with this chapter, man. Like 916, this chapter had so much Luffy greatness, bro. When he found out that Holden was using pliers. When he found out that Holden was using pliers on Tama, and he proceeded to hit him. When he got up, and he proceeded, dude, that final spread is one of my favorite panels post-time skip, bro. And there's a lot of that in this arc, but legit, at least a top 10 panel, bro. This man hits a Gomu Gomu no Jeto Hiken, aka the Red Hawk. He hits a Gomu Gomu no Jeto Hiken, and you see Holden's face, and that junk looks like it's going through facial reconstruction. I mean, it is completely reconfigured after getting hit by that. And I just love the way that it looks, bro. You get another godly dope spread in this arc. Holding it like this, holding the pose, baby, holding the pose. Come on, no. Jeto, he can. Greatness, man. Overall, just really nice stuff, and really showing how much Tama, and like how much Luffy cares about Tama after that entire situation, and whatnot. But God, man, great stuff, great sauce, bro, great sauce. I really liked it. My brother also gave it a great sauce, just putting Red Hawk as his comment for it, man. Just like I said, man, 916, 917 are gonna look so good in the anime. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what kind of music they decided to use for those 2 chapters as well. Now, man, we're gonna head into the really, really good stuff, bro. And the arc up until this point, I had been loving a lot. But when we returned from break, from 916, and we got 917, and then after 917, we got 918. 918, Luffy Taro returns the favor. To me, is a fantastic sauce. No questions asked. No questions asked. Fantastic perspective spreads. Fantastic perspective panels. Luffy, Tama, and Speed comedy. I was dying for a lot of those comedic moments, man. Tama, Luffy, and Ace greatness. Yo, one of my favorite panels in the arc, bro. And like I said before, I know that I've said that a lot, but I can't, bro. Whenever she says, "You were just like Ace," and it shows the panel of Luffy hitting his Gomu Gomu no Joto Hiken, and you see a panel of Ace, and I'm like, yeah. And then the following panel, one of the cutest panels in the arc, man. You have Luffy saying like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And then she just hugs him and says, "Oh, nothing at all." Like, "Ah, Tama and Luffy greatness, man." Oh snap, dude! I love this chapter, man. Luffy Taro returns the favor, bro. And then we had this phenomenal, really incredible Luffy panel towards the, well, actually, before I get to that, great dope spread of the citizens actually getting and receiving food for the first time, man. I mean, seriously, that dope spread showcasing how desperate these guys were. And after Luffy came in and brought them the food, just how happy they were, man. How much they couldn't believe it. The fact that they were able to eat this much. Showing just how crazy the situation actually is in Wano, man. Good lord, bro. And then one of my favorite Luffy fans. Dog. Oh, it's still my profile picture on Discord, bro. This man Luffy telling Tama that is not the end of it, bro. He promises to make it to where she can eat as much as she wants every day. To her heart's content. I just love that panel so much, man, because of the significance. I mean, this chapter. Listen, bro. You know that an arc is GOAT when this chapter might not even be a top 5 chapter in the arc so far. Because this chapter was phenomenal for me. Phenomenal. I can't stop saying it, bro. I love it. So many amazing panels, great double spreads. It's Luffy and Ace, bro. Luffy, Tama, and Ace. The connection, the emotional moments, bro. I almost started tearing up rereading it. And I'm not even finished with the chapter. I'm not even finished with the chapter, man. The chapter ends on a cliffhanger. The chapter ends on a cliffhanger of the ghosts of Wano. Do you guys remember how crazy that was? Seeing those names on the tombstones, and you're just like, what in the flying flag? I remember coming on here and doing afterthoughts after that chapter, and so many of us are speculating just what in the flying flag nards is Oda up to. And it just left us dumbfounded. Extremely dumbfounded. Just, you know, the more I think about it, the more I want to give this chapter an awesome sauce. The more I do. I really, really do. I give it a fantastic sauce. Or I really, really want to give it an awesome sauce, man. It hit on all cylinders, bro. It had great comedy. It had emotional moments from both a happy and a sad standpoint, bro. And then the insane cliffhanger at the end of the chapter. A godly Luffy quote. I love chapter 918, man. I loved it when I first read it, and I loved it even more while rereading it, man. Loved it even more while reading it. My brother also gave it a fantasy sauce. And the wonderful thing about whenever I was reading with my brother is that, you know, he's only 10 years old, man. And he said that for him, this was the best cliffhanger in the arc so far. Like, normally for a kid that age, I remember how I was whenever I was that age. For me, up until this point, the Red Hawk would have probably been my favorite cliffhanger. Like that amazing, awesome moment of Luffy being Beast, or Zoro in the beginning of the arc, right? Doing that thing that at his age, that probably would have been my answer. But no, that was his favorite cliffhanger up to this point. And I was like, wow, man, that just shows how impactful and how crazy that cliffhanger is, right? And then he also he also says, in his notes, my brother does, Ace restated by Luffy, basically saying like what Luffy stated, and also what Ace stated, and then having Tama also get emotional right there too, because they said the same thing. And like, oh man, I love this chapter. And you know what? Screw it, man. I don't even care. I'm giving this an awesome sauce, man. I'm a tard. I don't care, bro. I love that chapter, man. I love that chapter, bro. I really, really did. So, that's chapter 918. Going now next into chapter 919. Another, you know, we go from one chapter I really, really love to another chapter I really, really love, man. Chapter 919, The Ruins of Oden Castle. I also give this a fantastic sauce. Guys, first of all, you start off the chapter with something that was emotional to me. Because whenever I saw, Speed leaving with Tama, I was like, man, that by itself made me look back at what we had seen so far and say, what a journey just that was, getting to this point. With Luffy and Tama, meeting up with Zoro, finding Kiku, finding Sudu, eventually meeting up with Speed, and everything that was going on there with the Sumo. It just all made me look back on that entire little mini adventure, little prologue of Wano, and say, that was greatness. And just having Tama say goodbye, and Luffy promising her that he will return the Komainu, and that he will also keep his promise for the food, man. I was like, yo, man. Greatness. Even say hello to old man Hitetsu. I'm still looking forward to seeing who it is that Hitetsu was waiting for. Like, was it actually Kinemon Momo and them, or could it be even further than that? Like someone else that maybe we've seen in the series so far, maybe we haven't seen the series yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing who it is that Hitetsu was actually waiting for. But great start right there already to chapter 919. And then we go into a portion of this arc that made me love it even more than I already did, man. And it was wonderful because whenever I reread this with my brother, we had this pretty long conversation about what it means to have a closed or an open nation, and how that affects your upbringing. And of course, I'm talking about the little class that was given by that teacher that I originally thought was the shogun. You guys remember that? Whenever I thought the teacher was actually the shogun, greeting Kurozumi Orochi. Good times, man. But that entire page right there, those 2 pages, just really, really, it hits home for me, man. It like I continue to say every time I bring up that thing, because that is what I grew up being so hard against. You know, I was a pretty rebellious kid, and mainly for reasons like that. I always knew that that a lot of stuff that they were teaching us in school was absolute BS. And I was always trying to, you know, back in those days, whatever the word we would use back then, but in today's wording, you know, I was telling people to stay woke, bro. I was telling people to stay woke, man. Like, actually, like, think for yourself. Actually utilize critical thinking, like not the critical thinking that you receive in class, where it's telling you it's cornering you into basically trying to re-summarize or restate exactly what it is that you learned in that chapter. No, I'm talking about actual critical thinking, man. And I had a conversation with my brother. He's only 10 years old. We're 10 years old, and he found something really, really fascinating about that, because he's currently going through it. You know, going through the 5th grade, and also being in a situation like that to where he's being fed a lot of stuff, and he brought it to the forefront with me, and I thought that was very honest and just a really good convo that we had. You know, just an honest, face-to-face conversation about what is truly going on, and how similar, yet different our world is, even though where we live is an open nation and there is a closed nation, how certain things are still implemented in both nations. It's quite a fascinating thing when you actually think about it. But anyways, that was a conversation that we had. 10-year-old, bro. A 10-year-old, man. So I really love that portion right there. And I explained it into detail in the afterthoughts as to why that portion means so much to me. But it basically has to do a lot with my upbringing, you know, and that's why that portion right there meant a lot to me. And I was always so... I was 100,000% against everything that was being stated right there, but it hit home. It hit home, and I really, really loved it. We also got Kyoshiro in this chapter. Great stuff right there with him, with the initial foreshadowing until we get in the following chapter with Lady Toki and her final message and her final word, and also indicating, even though we haven't seen Shogun Kurozumi Orochi, in this chapter we got to see certain sides of what he actually could be. Through Kyoshiro's eyes, he's a coward who, you know, fears the eventual thing, or the ghosts of Wano, like that he fears that. He fears the possibility of that. Then you have the kids and the teacher back in the class that look at him like a hero, like this hero that saved them. And even the kids, even call him Orochi the Two-Sided, which I'm still sticking with it being a Darth Maul type of sword, man, like a spear, 2 blades on each side. I think that would be really, really sick. But yeah, man, just having Kyoshiro, it coming from Kyoshiro, knowing that he is a part of the Orochi faction, as we call it, or whatever the case. Like, it's on that side of the spectrum, not on our side. He's on Orochi's side. And for him to say all of that was really interesting. Just seeing that coming from somebody direct, which I'm going to assume is someone near Orochi, right? When you have Robin in the same room as well, you know, staking out everything and getting all of this information. But a lot of this stuff coming straight from him, and then we get it the following chapter, which was truth. It just makes you think, like, was the other stuff that he was saying truth? And how Orochi is this coward who is always hiding behind things and truly does fear the ghosts of Wano? It's food for thought, man. It's food for thought. I like how Oda put those 2 things together and immediately gave us a revelation in the following chapter. So then, man, we had amazing Luffy and Law comedy. I mean, One Piece comedy always hits home for me, and it's always really, really funny. But the way that this man Law was leading Luffy on, bro, I was like, Law, we gotta relax. You are a troll. This man Law is a top tier flipping troll, bro. Like, he's gotta be stopped. He's gotta be stopped, man. He was leading him on, thinking he was dead, and then he was bringing on this horror story, like, okay, he's gonna come at you in the middle of the night, man. Even Luffy got mad at him. He was like, what flying is wrong with you? And just seeing the reunion, all these characters again, you know, seeing Momonosuke and Kinemon and seeing the whole Geek Island squad. Really, really good stuff right there, man. And then Kinemon gives us the truth in what was one of the biggest revelations in the entire series thus far, that they came from 20 years in the past, man. And time travel in One Piece, bro. It's a big thing. It's a big, big thing. And I remember whenever the chapter came out, the community was pretty split. When the chapter came out, you know, there was a lot of people saying that they didn't like the idea. A lot of people were supportive of the idea. And it was just an interesting time. An interesting time because you really got to see how just one simple concept could really change how people thought about the series and about where it could possibly go. And then, but I just love how Oden, the chapter after that, comes up and they're like swimwear and delivers an answer that just, to him, the time travel concept, the answer to the time travel concept, didn't even warrant a cliffhanger. The answer to the time travel concept was dropped in the middle of the chapter in a flashback. That is how minuscule that time travel thing is to him and compared to what's to come. Basically telling people, this thing is not going to be a massive portion of this arc. This is how they got to this point, but don't expect it to be how they get out of the situation. That's how I took it. And so with that being said, well, actually, before I do that, I want to read off my brother's opinions because I thought it was very fascinating how he looks at this as a 10-year-old. He was saying that it sparked a discussion talking about the closed nation, what open nation is, and all that stuff. He really liked the panel with whenever Zoro says that Kiku's hiding something, like bringing up like that mysterious aspect as well. He really enjoyed that. He really enjoyed the reunion panel, and he states right here that my brother does that time travel is overused, but he believes that it was utilized properly here in this particular instance. And I thought that to be interesting. And then he brings up the question, you know, what kind of government is Wano? You know, he's a little kid, so he's still, I think, but just the fact that he's thinking about that above other things, like it fascinates me, man. It really does. Like I don't remember exactly how I thought whenever I was 10, but you know, I did think of a lot of mysteries and supernatural stuff, but I don't think I ever thought about like what kind of government certain. I mean, but it's been a long time. I don't remember how I thought when I was 10, man. Like I said, I don't remember it. But it was just interesting seeing how a 10-year-old sees a lot of the same greatness that we do, and he also gave it a fantastic sauce. So let's go into chapter 920. I'm gonna let you know right now. I give this chapter an awesome sauce. Y'all know how much I love this chapter when it came out, and while we're reading it, it gave me this same feeling. This was a phenomenal chapter, man. The chapter title is For the Love of Oden, and it warrants an awesome sauce, man. This chapter right here, in my first initial read through, and in my reread, the legend of Oden always gets to me, man. I can't wait. I really, really can't wait for the day when we get that flashback with Oden. Because even though we already got in that one panel of the double spread showing all of the Straw Hats reacting and saying how, like Brooks saying how much of a good man he is, and the tears, and we know where it leads to him getting executed. But the fact that Oden didn't tell the whole thing means that he plans on going back and telling it again, bro. And actually telling it in full force. And I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see Oden in the flesh, man. Because he must have been one of the most beast dudes ever, man. He just seems like the type of character that I would love, man. I mean, the legend of him going into this place that was a lawless area as the son of the Shogun. Going into a lawless area and befriending everyone there through his strength, bro. Not through some random thing like using his money, his power. No, he went in like swimwear, fought their top tiers in Ashura Doji, and said, "Yo, you guys are better than this. You guys have a brighter future than this." I was like, "Yeah, my guy Oden." I love it, man. And then the emotional moment with Inarashi, whenever he was looking back on the greatness of Oden, on how like everybody else saw us as a talking dog and a talking cat, but he saw us as something different, man. He saw us as friends, bro. And like Raj starts tearing up, man. I'm like, ah, man, Oden, bro. God, and then actually getting a lot of the flashback itself, or at least little portions of the flashback itself, silhouetted out Lady Toki, finding out that it was the time fruit that actually is what took him into the future, the introduction of Lady Hiyori, and seeing what happened that entire night, seeing Kaido and his calamities, and that spooky panel that all of us still continue to bring up to this very day, to see who the other calamities are, and what powers they could possess, what they look like. Really nice panel right there. But just, seeing that night from Kinemon's perspective, and yeah, I just can't wait for that full flashback to be told, man, because I know, even though we know these certain instances, I know once we get into the actual flashback itself, it's gonna be mad emotional. It's gonna be mad emotional, man. But the day of the execution, bro, the day that everything just started going downhill for them, and the fact that Toki, another thing leading on to how great of a man Oden was, Toki went from generation to generation to future to future to future to future. But once she met Oden, she decided to settle down and stay in this timeline, even until death, saying, I don't want to live on anymore. Like, I'd rather just stay here and die with Oden, man, because it wouldn't be worth it. I was like, Oden, I'm telling y'all, bro. I have a strong feeling that by the time we get this flashback, Oden's going to be a top 10 character for me, man. I have a strong feeling, bro. A strong feeling, man. And then after that, the initial them arriving 20 years into the future and having everything the way that it is, man, just looking at them just feeling mad emotional with the fact that they had to leave, but realizing they have to strive forward. And so they escape, man, and then we get to see everything as we saw it. How they had to leave Raizo on Zou, they had to leave Kanjuro on Dressrosa, and then Kinemon followed Momonosuke into a ship, which would lead him into Punk Hazard. And it just really made you look back at this entire journey that's been the past 6 years, since 2012 when we started the Punk Hazard arc, and saying, man, what a journey, bro. And seeing everything that led into that journey. You see, that's why I always love prologues to a lot of series, like Metal Gear Solid 3, being the prime example of that, heading into the Metal Gear Solid as we know. But a lot of prologues are always wonderful, bro. That's why I can't wait for that eventual Roger flashback, and the flashback about Luffy's birth and everything that connects there, leading into the first chapter of One Piece, and into Roger's execution. Because I always love finding out how things get to where it starts. And this is just a little part of that, like showing us how it is. This entire chapter was showing us how it is that Kinemon and Momonosuke got to Punk Hazard the way that we know it. And after reading this chapter, so many different moments where I just saw from a different perspective. A lot of Punk Hazard I saw from a different perspective. The way that they talked about the dragons, the way that Momonosuke and Kinemon talked. Remember whenever Momonosuke couldn't eat at the end of Punk Hazard, and Kinemon was telling him to do it, bro. Like, as he ate, the tears came down his eyes, but it gives me chills just thinking about it, bro. It's like Oda had all this in mind, man, and God, great stuff, man. Great stuff. And it really, really got you emotional. I mean, this chapter really got me emotional on so many different standpoints. And then the chapter ending off with some extreme hype, where Kinemon starts laying down the plan of what's going to happen from here on out, and he starts laying out who exactly is going to be in the battle, heading into the Battle of Onigashima. That's going to take place in 2 weeks while the Fire Festival is taking place, man. And that is when the raid will happen, bro. And you just see these amazing panels of all these characters going to be involved, and it's like, wow, man, in 2 weeks. And then, of course, that 2 weeks concept had us all saying, God, Reverie. Like, how's Reverie going to lead into this now, bro? Because we know when Reverie ends and whatnot. But what great stuff, man. What fantastic, what a fantastic chapter from so many different standpoints. And I think that being a part of the weekly experience for so long really made this chapter, made me love this chapter a lot more. And I'm not sure if I can, because I'm just saying that as someone who went through the weekly experience, but maybe if I also had, even if I had binged through and just started reading it just recently, I still think that this would have impacted me a lot. Just based off of the fact that I went through that journey with these characters and seeing how it all started. But such a great chapter, chapter 920, man. A fantastic cliffhanger, a fantastic flashback leading into where it is that we met them in Punk Hazard. A fantastic flipping flashback before that, a Night of Execution, legend of Oden from so many different characters' eyes, seeing how great of a man he was. It's just great stuff, great stuff. I love this chapter, man. I absolutely love it, yo. But the greatness doesn't stop there. The greatness doesn't stop there, man. Chapter 921. Shuten Maru. Santa hat level. You guys remember? Y'all remember? Now, first of all, you know a chapter is GOAT when the flipping magazine cover is Luffy, Taro, Zoro, Judo, and Kaido. That's my current phone wallpaper. Is that Luffy, Taro, Zoro, Judo, and Kaido. You know, yo, man, dude, that magazine cover is godly, man. And then a fantastic color page with the queens. You had Nami looking amazing. Hancock looking GOAT. You had Perona looking nice, man. And Big Mom was on her swag. Vivi was looking GOAT. You had Chopper. Shirahoshi trolling. Well, she wasn't really trolling, but the fact that Oda had just her arm because she's so dang huge. I just found that to be comedic. And then, of course, having Tashigi in there as well. It's just a really, really nice spread of the girls, you know, and Robin, of course, as well. But really, really nice spread. This chapter had fantastic comedy in the beginning of the chapter, man. Fantastic comedy, bro. Having Kinemon still having his little pervy actions, even though he has a wife. He has a wife. When I'm utilizing and having Nami's outfit be like that, Sanji losing his mind over that, and then of course getting some character introductions after that. But yeah, man, that entire first portion was just really cool to see. After chapter 920, I think it was needed, that comedy, you know, to really lighten the mood again and have us going back in there. And then Kiku even giving us some pretty important information on, you know, the fact that the Shogun and Kurozumi Orochi will be attending the Fire Festival, and he'll be heading there with all of his retainers and whatnot, and they will be there for that one night in the Fire Festival. You know what I'm saying? So that was a really big and important moment, because that might be the first time that we see the Shogun Kurozumi Orochi. I'm assuming we're gonna see him before then, but if that is the first time that we see him, I would not be shocked after the fact that Kiku said it in that particular chapter after it being revealed that this Fire Festival is going to take place in 2 weeks, which means that Oda, of course, already has it in mind of when Kurozumi Orochi is going to be introduced. But then after that, when we get my boy Shuten Maru's introduction, bro, great stuff. My boy Shuten flipping Maru. I love Shuten Maru already just for his design and his face. And I know that sounds weird, but his facial expressions really, really get me, bro. I mean, he has such an expressive face, man. And every panel, like, you could just tell how it is that he feels. He just looks so cool. He looks like a classic cartoon character. And I just like his design a lot, man. And I like the hype that we've had on this man for so long. And then he delivers in this chapter for us for Jack getting revealed in this chapter. Him showing up. And then he gets pwned. How do I put it? I'm not gonna say he gets pwned. I'm gonna say he just gets cut. You know, he gets cut by Shuten Maru, because of course he's still alive. He's still talking. He's still in like Swimwear. Jack is still good, but he gets cut. I mean, he gets flash stepped by this man Shuten Maru. And you're like, yo, my guy, Shuten Maru, absolute greatness right there, man. And that by itself wasn't enough for the chapter, bro. Listen. Listen, bro. When you have the legend show up in a chapter, dog. When you have the legendary, bro. When you have one of the greatest cards in the history of duel monsters get summoned from the heavens. When you have the Big Shield Gardener, Gamma the Magnet Warrior, and the Dark Magician Girl being sacrificed. The heavens opening up. You see the wind, the clouds, everything becomes black. And you see everybody shook. Uh-oh, why is he here? And then coming straight out of the flipping flag darts in the middle of that hole. Swooping down, bro, is Kaido the Sky Dragon. The revelation. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, man. This was the last chapter that I got to read with Kevin before he went to bed. And us reading this together, building up to this, I was getting chills. When I turned that panel and saw Kaido again, bro, he was like, where are those brats? I was like, dude, I was barking out like it was the first time I read it again, man. I was like, Kaido. I mean, you see his mustache, bro? I mean, but it's like, Slifer, man. Initially, man, I was like, you know what, Slifer and Kaido, they both have really, really awesome designs. But Slifer's design is inferior. You want to know why Slifer's design is inferior? Because Kaido has the godly mustache. Come on, man. Kaido's mustache gang is dominating all other dragons. Dominating all other dragons, bro. Come on, man. But just having Kaido appear by itself was a massive shock. We just got done explaining what the plan was. The plan on how we are going to sneak in and go through our business on Wano and eventually get there to the Fire Festival in 2 weeks and take Kaido's head. But in the flipping meantime, this man shows up in the following chapter. In the following chapter, in his dragon form. Wano greatness. Once again, Santa Hat level chapter. This was the last chapter that my brother rated. He gave it an Omniverse Santa Hat level, man. He was hyped as flag nards whenever he saw Kaido appear, man. So, now we get into the chapters that I just read before I got on here. I just finished rereading with soundtracks. Chapter 922, man. Supreme Commander Kaido of the Animal Kingdom Pirates. Just reading that name alone, just reading the title alone, I already knew it was going to be a godly chapter. I already knew, man. This chapter came out on my birthday. It was a really, really crazy chapter to come out on my birthday, man. This chapter, of course, is a Santa Hat level, no question. You guys remember. No question, Santa Hat level. This chapter had some phenomenal art. I think some of my favorite stuff in this chapter was the panels just showcasing how big Kaido is in scale. You know, showing like the back of his tail and showing the rest of his body just in the background. Just in the background of random panels. Showcasing how huge he truly is. I really, really enjoyed that right there. Having Drunk Kaido's awesome. Really, really fun, really funny. And just proved to be a really, such a One Piece thing. And I enjoyed it a lot, man. Having a Drunk Kaido around. Really, really nice spreads. The double page spreads from the attacks to the spreads of like showcasing Wano itself with Kaido once again with the dragon form going around. A really, really nice panel of Kaido in his dragon form on top of like a dragon gate. That's one of my favorite panels from that chapter. Really, really nice stuff. The panel with the blast breath, seeing Kaido pull out white light, his own version of white lightning, and hitting that thing towards our characters and our Straw Hats, man. And just seeing that particular panel where Nami puts her hand over her face, yo, and you just see the light. Beautiful, beautiful shading right there, and by Oden, man. Great stuff. But when this man Luffy, bro, dragon form or not, yo. Dragon form or not, We're talking about the same man. We're talking about the same king that went to Eni's lobby and declared war on the world government. We're talking about the same king that was told not to punch the Celestial Dragon because they'll summon an Amarillo. What did he do? He punched that bastard in the face. We're talking about the same king who went into Impel Down and Marineford by himself. By himself. At Marine headquarters. And went in there like swimwear. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the same man who, even with everything I just said, might have done the biggest, most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen him do. And yet it was so glorious because it was so Luffy, and I loved every single second of it, man. In his anger, in one of the most gorgeous, most incredible double spreads in the series, Luffy hits an elephant gun on Dragon Form Kaido, bro. I can't begin to explain the amount of sweat and perspiration, the amount of energy that was running through my veins, the amount of blood that was pumping, the speed at which my heart was going. I mean, by God, my camera kun almost got broken. And the fact that while we're reading it, Luffy Moko just happened to start playing. When I reached that panel, it's just meant to be. It's just meant to be, bro. Look greatness. Luffy, man. It's just Luffy hitting Luffy getting a hit in on Kaido. You know how long I'd been waiting to see these two in the same panel? And the first time we ever see them in the same panel is Luffy whacking him in the head with an elephant gun. I mean, the hype was real. I had never... From chapter 920 to here, I never expected this. I never expected Luffy and Kaido, bro. I never expected that. Such a massive turn of events, and I was like, yo, I'm all for this, bro. I'm all for this. Like, Wano, I was already enjoying Wano so much, bro. When this was going down, bro, I was like, goodness gracious, man, this is crazy. So, of course, that's my king, bro. Santa Hat level greatness. And then we go into chapter 923. The title alone sends shivers up my spine still. Emperor of the Sea, Kaido versus Luffy. Emperor of the Sea. Kaido versus Luffy in the freaking title. The entire series, bro. All of us have been with the series for so long, man. We saw this man, Luffy, bro, when he first got his 30 million freaking belly bounty. And he goes from that to boxing a Yonko, bro. Chapter 923 is, without question, one of the most emotional roller coasters in this series thus far. Not only does it have fantastic art, not only does it have the intensity of every punch, you feel the intensity of every single punch, but by God, for 40 minutes when I first read this chapter, and even while reading it, I was able to suspend my disbelief over the fact that this is a comic and truly become 130% invested into what was going on in those pages. I actually wanted Luffy to kick Kaido's butt. I really, really wanted Luffy to decimate Kaido because of the stuff that happened in the arc previously. And guys, I'm a massive fan of antagonists. I'm a massive fan of people that go up against our main characters in any series. I mean, you look at my top 10 favorite One Piece characters, a lot of them are villains. Because I just love those characters. I love Blackbeard. I love Doflamingo. I love NL. You know what I'm saying, man? I love Akainu. Like, these are characters that I really like. There's a reason why I hype up Im-sama, Instant Messenger-sama, as much as I do. Because I just love these type of characters. I love these massive opposing threats. But by God Almighty, when I see the beginning of this chapter, and the way that it starts, of that different perspective of the elephant gun hitting, we come straight back down. Speed is on the floor. And we see Speed, who is somebody who works under Kaido, pleading with Luffy. And then Luffy asks, where's Tama? We have a little flashback of an apple next to Tama's hand. And I'm like, nah, bro, you went too far. You don't mess with Tama, dog. You don't mess with Tama. And then right after that, the stuff that really, really broke my heart is this man Luffy actually feeling regret? Something that I don't think I've seen since when Ace died, or when he lost his entire crew at Sabaody. For the first time in such a long time, this man Luffy felt regret in his heart for not being able to do something, bro. And it decimated me, man. I was like, Luffy, bro, don't do that, man. You're supposed to be our king, bro. And then he turns right around and in his absolute anger, and he hits an elephant Gatling on Kaido and takes him on his dragon form. We see human form Kaido. Luffy and that same amount of anger. And I was like, yo, Luffy, just go in, bro. I mean, legit. The way that Oda set that up was so perfect, man, because I was feeling every shot, every hit, man, from the elephant Gatling to the Oregon. I mean, I was feeling it all, Skip. I was feeling it all, man. I was like, Luffy, do it, bro. Execute him. Just vote him. But at the same time, as I saw Kaido in his human form, especially during my reread, you would just see Kaido looking up at him as he struck, and he would just allow himself to be hit. You could just feel the sense of disappointment come from Kaido, man. Like, I remember I was talking about this in the afterthoughts, but it really did feel like Kaido was going through a Toguro-like situation where for a split second, he was like, yo, I finally found somebody worthy. I finally found somebody who was worthy, man. And then after taking all these hits, he realized, like, oh, he's just another one, bro. He's just another rambunctious kid, man. And he gets up and he sighs and he one-shots Luffy with the Divine Thunder, bro. Or the Thunder Bagua in the Viz translation, or the 8 trigrams Thunderclap in the manga stream, bro. Whatever the case may be, man, it was a phenomenal final technique. And it really, it was, I had two different emotions. Number one, I was, of course, like, man, because I really wanted Luffy to punch him, bro. I wanted this man to go ham. But at the same time, I felt so much hype for Kaido. Because I was like, bro, this man said Divine Thunder. Like, that's how you know that your strength is on another level. Whenever you're able to name one of your attacks as something divine, simply because you are hitting somebody with the power of a god, with the power of a deity. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, that is just how strong that attack was. And all he did, bro, he was on some Barry Bonds stuff, man. I mean, he was out there batting, bro. I was like, all right, here we go, bottom of the ninth. Going in and he swings, and it's gone. It is out of here. That's what Kaido did. Just actually seeing Gear 4th Luffy and Kaido in the same panel on some, yes, we can, you can, like the opening. Actually having them go at it, man. And this man Kaido did not rebuttal a single time until he just sighed. And that sigh, I'm telling you, bro, that sigh was like a sigh of disappointment, man. And he just gets rid of Luffy. But it was because I know he respects Luffy to a certain extent after 924. But I really do think like he like in his heart, after getting hit in the head, and after seeing Luffy, maybe even seeing the Straw Hat or whatever the case may be, he probably had like a little bit of, you know what, like this kid, I want to test him out for a sec. And after getting about all those attacks, he was like, nah, he's not ready yet, man. He's not ready yet, bro. And then he even taunts him in what was such a disrespectful move and tells him, you're the king of what? Brat. Like, man, yo, like Luffy, bro. There was a certain portion in this chapter, whenever earlier on, Luffy delivers such an amazing line, bro. First, we have the first time that they look at each other face to face. We have Kaido in his dragon form, and you have Luffy right here. He's staring right at him, and Kaido says, "And you are." And Luffy says, I'm Luffy, bro. Not Luffy Taro. I'm Luffy, the man who's gonna be king of the pirates, bro. And after that, that's when it starts going off, man. That exchange right there, I cannot wait for that to get animated, man. I mean, this chapter was just, it was hype. It was emotional. It gave you chills. It really made you feel sad and worried, man, for Tom. It just destroyed me. And how it is that like Luffy felt whenever he said that. And he felt regret, man, over not going back with Tom, and how he should have went with her. And that final panel was just a mixture of so many different emotions, man. But it was It was so good. Such an amazing chapter. Santa Hat level, no question. So many good spreads. Just, it lived up to the title of the chapter. It lived up to the title of the chapter, man. Phenomenal stuff. It's Wano living up to its hype. Wano living up to what we expected Wano to be, which is some fantastic stuff after having all these years of build up towards it, man. And I just couldn't believe that we were getting it this early in the arc. And it was such a fantastic chapter, bro. Fantastic, fantastic chapter, man. So we head off from that, and then we go into last week's chapter, or last week's chapter, entitled Ha. And this chapter to me was a fantastic sauce. Let me tell you something, man. Just like I started off the video saying, bro. Overtaken started playing when Kaido was talking about Luffy glaring at him. And whenever I saw he hit the Conqueror's Haki all unconscious on everyone else, showing his undying will even while unconscious, and Overtaken started going in, and I just could not stop going through the chapter, bro, and I was speed blitzing through. I was like, yo, man, I'm feeling the music. And God, man, but that Luffy using his Haki unconscious scene was such a beast moment. This arc has had so many amazing Luffy moments, but that Luffy using his Conqueror's Haki while being unconscious was so beast, man. So beast. I mean, showing his I mean, Kaido even respects him, bro. He's like, yo, he's still glaring at me even while unconscious, man. And even gains certain respect to where he's like, throw him in the cell, man. Like, we'll break his will, as if they could break Luffy's will. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody that can do that. But and then even a portion I missed when I first read the chapter, with Kid having Conqueror's Haki as well, man. That's gonna be crazy when we see that. You imagine seeing that, like Kid utilizing his Conqueror's King Haki. But yeah, man, Luffy using his Haki while unconscious, that was goat. That was good, and especially in the situation he was in, man. After being wiped out after getting pwned by Kaido, still showing that even while getting one-shotted by Kaido, the will that he had right there, man, would have knocked out any random father soldier would have came by him and would have breathed the same air as him. They would have been waxed, man. Just great stuff, bro. Great stuff. And then from there, man, we go and we transition over with the whole Law and Hawkins stuff, and seeing the whole thing with the Sea Stone boats for the first time, and actually getting revelation that Sea Stone it originated from here, which was a massive revelation, you know. And then going on from there and seeing everyone's reactions to this, man. The hilarious panels with Robin, especially. Robin's was the funniest, and then with Frankie, with Usopp and Zoro. Like, man, like already, on Luffy and Kaido. And then actually going to the Udon Iron Mine, seeing Makoto Shishio Luffy. I love that design so much. I keep saying this, bro. I love that design, man. Like Luffy with the bandages over his head, he just looks so sick, and the way his eyes look, man, it's like, yo. I always I have a thing for bandages, man. Like anybody in bandages always looks beast to me. So the fact that the king right now is in bandages, man, he just looks so sick, bro. And trying to figure out who that mysterious guy is from the end of the chapters. A couple people saying he's Gin from the Bradier. A couple other people saying that he's somebody from the squad from 20 years ago, or somebody who could have been an acquaintance of Ashura Doji, who we also got to see in the chapter as well with Kinemon. Whenever Kinemon actually sees his wife for the first time, he's wearing underwear on his head, trying to keep everything under wraps. And we even got to find out exactly how it is that the Straw Hats managed to escape out of the situation, utilizing the mature no Mi, in order to erode the ground beneath them. But the final part of that chapter, man, with the Iron Mine, bro, just having, like I said before, Luffy in that awesome design, having him come in there in cuffs, and people just spitting on him, saying he's trash. Like, oh, this little wimp, this little kid was the one that stood up to Kaido. Like, man, it made me so mad, bro. I was like, yo, Luffy, you better punch these dudes in the face, dog. And just utilizing great heel dialogue right there. Really, really curious in seeing who that mysterious guy is, which I can't wait to see. I saw some other people saying that he could possibly be Vegapunk just because his design is similar to the way that it was in Punk Hazard, which whenever they showed his silhouette, and I'm not on board with that. I still think Vegapunk will be post Wano or in the next arc. I think next arc is Vegapunk, or we see him for the first time in post Wano. We'll see. Post Wano, I'm telling you, it's gonna be the best post arc, no question. But yeah, we got that, and then right after that, we get Luffy being tossed into the cell, and next to him is Kid D Eustace, my man, Captain Kid, bro, for the finally having Luffy and Kid in the same battle, and then you have them, and they both said, "You'll pay for this, Kaido." Like, bro, what's so goated about that moment is the fact that they both got whooped. And it doesn't give a flying flag, not if they got whooped, bro. They're gonna get this man back. They want him. They want him, Skip. They want him, Coach. And then the chapter ends with them realizing who it is that's next to each other. The curtains close in the same way they did in 909 when they opened. Wano Act 1 end. This arc is off to one of my favorite beginnings, one of my favorite intro volumes to any One Piece arc. This arc has been off to a phenomenal start. I love how Oda handled that, man. I love how Oda included that whole curtain scene. That gave me chills, man. Even while we're reading it. And overtaken hope too, but it really, really did. And just a Wano Act 1 end, having the curtains come in, and brilliant. But right now I have right here that whenever I averaged all of my ratings together for the arc so far, the arc is a fantastic sauce average rating, almost an awesome sauce from my ratings. So right now, Wano Act 1 stands as a fantastic sauce. We're only 15 chapters into the arc, man, and we have everything that I just said, bro. What more does Oda have in store? What more does Oda have in store for Acts 2 through whatever? What more could he possibly have in mind for this amazing arc, bro? If this arc continues the way that it is, man, it probably might end up being a top 2, maybe even top 3 favorite arc in One Piece, man. It is on the road, bro. It is on the road, and it's looking to be a really, really fantastic arc, and it's off to a great start with Act 1, man. So many great moments already. So many fantastic panels. So many emotional moments. So many mind-blowing moments. So many twists. So many turns. Things I didn't expect, things I really didn't expect. Great adventure, great pacing, great characters, amazing character moments, awesome designs, great art, amazing spreads. What more can I say about Wano Act 1, man? What more can I say about Wano Act 1, bro? Absolute greatness, man. And now we look towards Act 2. Man. And I look forward to discussing that with y'all in the prediction stream. That's going to be a lot of fun. But, yeah, man. Wano Act 1, bro. Absolute greatness, man, from beginning to end. So many great panels. So many great moments. I can't wait for all of this stuff to be animated, man. I am really excited to see it all in the anime, and just to see how they handle certain things, with what soundtracks will be used, and man, so many. I mean, even the chapters that are rated a good sauce have a special place in my heart. Like these chapters, all of these chapters were greatness in their own unique ways. And the fact that every chapter so far has been at least a good sauce and above is a testament as well, man. Like, we have had no solid, like, everything has been above good. Like, everything has been going in. I mean, the average ratings are freaking fantastic sauce, for God's sakes. I mean, like I said before, bro, in any other arc, or not any other arc, like in almost any other instance, chapter 918 would have been like a top 5 chapter, right, in the arc so far. Because we just started. I don't even know if I could say that, bro, because of the amount of gold stuff that we've got in this arc, man, so far. Ah, so much greatness, man. So much greatness, bro. But I will see y'all next time, man. I really wanted to come on here and just talk to y'all, recap the arc so far, and give my overall thoughts, little small mini thoughts on them. And I say that, but we went almost an hour and a half doing an overview of the arc so far, and I really want to come on here and just talk about Wano and just release my hype for it and get us ready for the upcoming Act 2 and whatnot. And I really wanted to come on here and talk about it before we moved on, man. And the greatness of One Piece, bro. The greatness of One Piece. I cannot wait for us to return next week. But until then, Act 2 predictions stream coming in soon. I look forward to discussing that with you guys. But I want to know what y'all thought about Act 1 in the comments down below. Do you agree with me that it has been a lot of greatness so far? And if so, what chapters have you really enjoyed? If you have reread the arc, like, give me your ratings down below for each of the chapters as well. Just let me know, man. Let me know your overall thoughts when it comes to a lot of these chapters and the great moments and whatnot, man. And let's just keep enjoying this awesome train that One Piece is on right now, because it is truly, truly, truly going in. It hasn't had a chapter below Fantastic Sauce in like 2 months. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Just looking at right here, look at this, man. From 918 onwards, awesome sauce, fantastic sauce, awesome sauce, Santa hat, Santa hat, Santa hat, fantastic. God, man. My boy Oda has been going in, man. But I hope to see y'all again soon, man. Have an awesome day, everybody. Thank you so much if you lasted this long in the video, even though it was mainly me rambling for an hour and a half about the greatness of Wano. But I really do appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. This has been the Recon's Piece. I will see y'all next time. Wano greatness. One Piece greatness. Can't wait to see where Oda takes it from here on out, man.